A royal expert has exposed what she believes is Prince Harry's plan to villainize King Charles, and this time, Prince William isn't taking it lightly. The confusion surrounding Harry's UK visit wasn't accidental. Just stay until the end and see how Prince Harry allegedly tried to portray the king as someone who doesn't care about his own son or his grandchildren.
Positioning King Charles as the bad guy because Harry's father of the year. He wants to bring the kids over because the kids really want to see the UK. But, if things don't work out, it's because of his mean dad. And that's just not reality.
Kinsey Schofield exposes Harry's plan, and she has been analyzing the royal family for years. She frequently interviews Tom Bower and is often one of the first media personalities to discuss his latest reporting and newly released books. So Kinsey revealed that when Harry announced that he would be coming to the United Kingdom for the Invictus Games preparations and rehearsals, nobody took it too seriously because everyone already knew that the games were being hosted in Birmingham and that he would eventually have to travel there.
If I'm Invictus, I'm livid because he's supposed to be coming over here to promote 1 year to Invictus, the big Birmingham Games next year. Is this all a ploy to make his father look bad, to manipulate his father to feel obligated to show up next year united with Harry at the Games, which I've heard forever is Harry's ultimate objective, to get that royal seal of approval by having members of his family at the Games.
But when Harry realized that this wasn't generating the kind of headlines he wanted, he took things a step further by saying that he would be bringing Meghan and their children to the United Kingdom as well.
Meghan are set to bring their children to the UK for the first time in years.
With that announcement, he allegedly tried to maximize media attention and generate public sympathy. The question many people are asking is this: why was Harry trying to control the narrative from the very beginning, making it seem as though the people of the United Kingdom owed him something? According to reports, it was initially suggested that Meghan and the children would travel to the United Kingdom. However, as security concerns became the main topic of discussion, Harry later announced that he would be traveling alone.
Just say he's been using those kids as emotional blackmail, trying to get Charles to stick his nose in and change that decision just so he can get to see his grandchildren. Charles saying, look, I cannot do that, nor would I do that. It's outside my remit. I don't make decisions about royal security.
And Harry's team actually accusing Prince William of having somebody on the Ravic committee that is conspiring against him, and that is not true.
Of course it's not true.
Kinsey argued that Harry was never actually planning to bring his family to the UK in the first place. Instead, she believes he intended to travel alone, but allowed speculation about Meghan and the children to grow because it generated publicity and sympathy. Kinsey claimed Harry knew they would never make the trip, yet he allowed the uncertainty to continue. The obvious question is, why allow an entire week of speculation if the answer was already known? According to Kinsey, it was all part of creating as much publicity as possible for his visit.
I don't believe for a moment Meghan was ever going to come to the UK, let alone London. And everybody's talking about reconciliation, Harry reconciling with his father, his father seeing the grandchildren. Let's not forget Thomas Markle. Thomas Markle hasn't seen his grandchildren at all, although the king did in 2022, and he's never met his son-in-law. So, is reconciliation on both sides. Let's not just make it one-sided.
This eventually led to Harry's spokesperson announcing that the family would not travel because of inadequate security arrangements. That statement immediately fueled the argument that Harry was trying to suggest his own father had failed to protect his grandchildren. The implication was that if King Charles truly wanted to see his grandchildren, he would have done everything within his power to provide the security needed for them to visit. Critics argue that this reinforced Harry's long-running narrative that Britain is unsafe for his family.
Harry was setting the palace up to continue to pit them as the villains in this story. And then watching the way this is all unfolded today, watching you on GB News, watching you jump on Instagram and be like, behind the scenes, this is what's going on. It kind of solidified that feeling that Harry wanted to not get what he wanted so that he could go, look, I'm still the spare. I'm still the rejected son. My father doesn't love me.
Now, this is the most twisted part of Harry's alleged plan. Remember that King Charles initially asked Harry about his travel plans and offered him accommodation when it appeared he would be visiting the United Kingdom with his family. However, Harry did not give the king a clear response regarding his travel schedule. There were reports that Harry first declined the offer, but later changed his mind and began making plans to stay at the palace. However, by the time Harry decided to accept the accommodation, the offer had reportedly been withdrawn. Some believe the palace had recognized what Harry was trying to achieve and decided not to become part of it. But this entire situation raises several questions. Why was there a change? Why did everything take so long? And could all of this have been avoided?
And that his father had extended an invitation to stay in one of the royal residences.
Which is true. His father had extended this invitation.
There was a deadline, ladies and gentlemen, because you can't just go, well, I'm going to go and stay at Buckingham Palace to security and cleaning and all that sort of thing. Bits are open to the public.
It's not a Holiday Inn.
No, it's not a Holiday Inn. There's no fruit machine in reception. Been there a couple of times myself.
According to reports, when King Charles first offered Harry accommodation, Harry had not yet finalized his own private security arrangements. Before accepting the offer, he wanted to make sure those arrangements were in place. It was only after that process had been completed that Harry formally accepted the king's invitation. Harry's team argues that the palace did not wait long enough for his response and withdrew the accommodation unfairly. However, others see the situation differently. Palace officials reportedly believed Harry simply wasn't interested in staying there anymore. As plans continued to change, staff were forced to repeatedly adjust logistics and security arrangements. The constant last-minute decisions reportedly created unnecessary disruption, and eventually, palace officials decided they could no longer continue dealing with the uncertainty surrounding Harry's visit.
But the truth is, he responded with a rejection on Saturday, and they said, great, we're taking that information back to the team. He came back later on Saturday and said, I changed my mind. I just want to come for one night. And they said, you missed the deadline. And we were planning, we had a team, we were putting a team together for a family of 4, plus some, whoever else they wanted to bring. And now we're not going to readjust at the last minute for one night for one person.
Prince William, meanwhile, appears to have reached his breaking point. He is said to be increasingly frustrated by the repeated public disputes, with every new controversy becoming another distraction for the royal family. If Harry is attempting to portray King Charles negatively, William would likely view that as yet another attack on the institution itself. William is also believed to remain deeply hurt by the Oprah interview, Harry's memoir, and the various interviews that publicly criticize the royal family while revealing private family matters. Now, seeing Harry once again accusing the institution of failing to protect his family has reportedly only added to William's frustration.
William is furious. The rest of the royal family are furious, and I think from what you were saying about what the king is now saying, quite clearly King Charles, a gentle soul who doesn't like confrontation, is seething.
Despite everything that has happened, Harry continues to present himself as the victim. Kinsey argues that every disagreement eventually becomes another example, in Harry's eyes, of how he has supposedly been mistreated. She believes this has become a predictable pattern. Instead of taking responsibility for his own decisions, Harry repeatedly places himself at the center of the story as the injured party. According to critics, this approach often has the opposite effect, making him appear to be the author of his own problems rather than the victim of them.
Hold your horses. Prince Harry isn't staying. The reason being is because Harry formally declined that invitation on Saturday morning. Then later on in the day, Buckingham Palace says, he changed his mind and said, no, I am going to stay in Buckingham Palace, thank you very much. Then Buckingham Palace wrote back saying, it's too late, because logistically it's quite hard to get all the staffing in place.
King Charles also finds himself in an incredibly difficult position. If he chooses to help Harry, he risks being accused of giving his younger son special treatment. But if he refuses to help, he is portrayed as an uncaring father and grandfather. Either decision creates another negative headline for the king, leaving him in what many see as a no-win situation. Royal experts also argue that public sympathy for Harry may be wearing thin. The constant family disputes are beginning to overshadow his charitable work. And there are growing concerns that the Invictus Games could become more closely associated with drama instead of the injured veterans it was created to support.
Hey, I'll tell you who else. Let me tell you who else is seething right now, Kevin.
Yeah.
The Invictus leadership. This trip was supposed to be about the veterans. This trip was supposed to be a kickoff to the 1 year in Birmingham for the Invictus Games.
And there you have it. What looked like a simple UK visit was allegedly a calculated media strategy from start to finish. The family announcement, the security drama, the week of speculation, according to Kinsey, none of it was accidental. Do you think Harry deliberately used his own family to manipulate public opinion? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I will see you in the next video.